Welcome to episode 119 of Curio. This week we'll be delving into the world of Looksmaxxing and extreme body modification. You've been maximising your looks, Rob, recently?
I am constantly maximising my looks, like 100% of the time. That's why I look like this.
How much do you know about the world of Looksmaxxing?
A little bit, actually. I've seen there's a YouTuber that I've subscribed to. He's done a little bit on it, and I listened to a podcast about it. More sort
Interesting.
Yeah, it was more specifically on mewing, I think.
Mewing is one.
None of the other Looksmaxxes, I don't think.
Okay.
It focused a lot on mewing and the guy like John Mew, whatever his name is.
Yeah. We'll brush on mewing. But we're going to go through like the different aspects of Looksmaxxing and then kind of like the parts that make sense, because a lot of it does come from like somewhere real, and then also like how far people take it and how extreme they can be.
Like most things on the internet.
Exactly, yeah. And it's basically this podcast is just like, oh, here's like a very normal thing that people ran away with, and it just became like an extreme subculture.
Like drinking a little bit of your piss, pretty normal.
Yeah.
But, we'll do that.
Looksmaxxing is a relatively like new term, but I think like the culture of Looksmaxxing has been around for quite a while, probably as long as the internet and forums have really been a thing. And it's all, I think it all came from like the bodybuilding.com kind of forums where obviously it's a big group of men trying to improve themselves, and like they're on this journey to like, you know, build their body. And then
I think it even predates the internet a little, potentially, you know, like,
I'm sure. Yeah.
Like people doing something, you know, to make their looks more maximized. And then, you know, and they might, but as a term, I'm sure the term must only exist since the internet and like as a movement.
Yeah, I think the actual term Looksmaxxing is only sort of like a few years old, like 2019, I think I read was like the first time Looksmaxxing became a thing, because that's just like a bit of a meme, is like you put max in at the end of something that you are doing. Like if you're, I can't even think of another example, but it comes from like gaming, where you would like min max your stats. So you'd put all your strength, your points into strength and none into intelligence in like a RPG game. And then people translate that into like IRL situations, and their looks maxing, their strength maxing, their school maxing if they're like revising real hard and shit like that.
So the whole like, I don't know if you're going to talk about this, but are you going to talk about like Giga Chad and that at some point? Because that sort of comes into it, and that's a similar.
It does. I hadn't written that down, but we'll like
just like, made me think of it because of like that. I feel like such an old cunt with this, but that's when I only realised, you know, I've heard that term, but that's the only thing that I realised comes from computer game sort of lingo as well, like you said, like Giga.
Right, yeah. Giga Chad will probably be the thumbnail, to be honest. Just us and Giga Chad, the Looksmaxxers. But yeah, I think like you say, it's probably been a thing for longer than the internet. Like there's always been people that are like, how can I look the best? And I'm sure there was lads mags and just about magazines that were how you can style your hair to attract women and how you can do this and that. It's always been a thing. But I think obviously the internet is like an incubator for autism, and we'll just grow like really what is it, like it really like lights a fire under people that have these sort of tendencies. But
like
I think it came from like bodybuilding.com, Reddit forums, and usually people get into it for one reason or another. It might just be bodybuilding. They go into the gym, they're trying to eat better, sleep better. So they look up these forums on how to be healthier. And because these people are also on a similar journey, you get these little side conversations and off-topic threads that will pop up that's like, oh, I've been trying to sleep better and I feel much better, and how do you guys dress? And like a lot of it might be young guys who are just becoming a man who don't really know how to dress, how to like style themselves. Maybe like there's some hair care, hygiene, all that kind of stuff mixed in. And
it's interesting, really, because I never would have thought that information probably existed on the internet to an extent when I was younger, but I never would have thought of looking it up. But like now, it's just like it's pretty common. Like, obviously, you're going to look it up on the internet. Like,
yeah, well, I remember
as far as asking the question.
Yeah, I remember like being on Reddit when I was 14 or so, and I wouldn't go looking it up, but you'll see these threads that are just like, it's just an Ask Reddit thread where people can ask any question and it gets upvoted higher. It'll be like, men in your 30s or men in your 40s, what advice would you give to like a teenager or like a young man? So, and you click on it and you probably get some smart things. It might just be like, start investing your money early, like it will really pay off, or like, floss as well as brushing your teeth, and like all that kind of like basic shit. And then you hear people, other people comment that and be like, yeah, I wish I started working out and was consistent with it. And I think that's sort of like the gateway into these kind of communities. There is a website, looksmaxxing.com. There's a whole like must read section that's like the ultimate jaw guide mega thread, how to get the ultimate jaw. Diet one, Hairmaxxing mega thread, how to get the most hair. Your eyes, anti-aging, all this kind of stuff. We're going to go into a couple of what I would say the most like extreme ones are. And the first one I wrote down was height. So this one's at first, when you first hear it, it's a bit counterintuitive. Like, how can you maximize your height, right? Because your height is kind of determined for you. But to a certain extent, right? And like,
I suppose
in some of these forums, it will be people just talking about posture and how you can present. Like, you might only be 5'7", but if you walk with like your chest puffed out, make sure you're standing up straight, don't slouch. These are exercises you can do to like build up your back and make it easier for you to stand up and really maximize like every inch that you have.
Yeah.
There's also some threads about like what trainers and what shoes have like the most lift but don't look like lifts. Like, they don't want, guys don't want to be walking around like clearly insecure about their height and wearing 3-inch lifts, but these trainers have like a 2.5-inch bumper at the back and they don't look like they do, or they're just naturally like kind of chunky trainers, those kind of things.
Yeah,
because height is something that a lot of people obviously are insecure about. And also
on about height, don't they?
People love it.
People love to say that all women, they just want a 6-foot guy, like anyone under 6 foot. And like, I feel like
6 foot, 6 digits, 6 inches. That's the Trinity, right? Yeah.
That's like, and I see things where some women say it now, but like, I'm sure they didn't start it. Like, I'm not sure. I don't know. Like, and I'm sure most don't really care that much. Not as much
I think there are
not
some.
as much as guys think they care. There obviously are some, but like,
yeah, I think a lot of women do like having someone taller, but not often. There's not often a cut off like height requirement. Like a lot of women, it's like, oh yeah, I like a tall guy, but if you're a 5'3" woman, what's the difference between a 5'11" man and a 6 foot man? Like, there isn't anything. And I think so many guys lie about their height and say that they're 6 foot when they're not. They're 5'10" and 5'11". Because I'm like 5 foot. I'm either 5'10" or 5'11". I can't remember. But people will say to me like, "Oh, you must be 6 foot because I'm 6 foot and you're the same height as me," or like, "I'm 6 foot and you're a bit taller than me, so you must be 6'1". I'm like, "No, I'm not. You're just a liar. Like, you've lied and said that you're 6 foot so much that you now believe that you're 6 foot, but you're not. Like, you're 5'9", you're 5'10", I'm 5'10", 5'11", but then everyone else has a distorted view of what 6 foot is."
True.
Yeah. So either way, I have seen, and it's been a long time since I've been on Tinder, but I remember back in the day, you would get girls in their bio that say like, "Don't swipe right if you're under 6 foot," and like in there, and it's like, well, right then, if you're that, even if I was 6 foot, just the fact you have that attitude is like you're being swiped left. But it's obviously quite a minority, and some of them might even just be joking.
Yeah. Also, like, not that fussed if you really turn up, you know, and you're not.
They're not getting
the tape measure out.
Yeah. Because I'm wearing my 2.5-inch lifts. So yeah, things like posture and lift are some of the more everyday techniques people do to Heightmaxx. One of the more extreme versions, and like we've spoke about this briefly, I don't know if we spoke about it on the podcast, is limb lengthening surgery. So
that's a different ballgame. So does like prosthetic surgery and stuff, does that come into Looksmaxxing? Because surely that's a whole different ballgame then. That's not, because you can certainly change the appearance of your face by gun and paying for a doctor to do it, but that's not the looks. You know, that's not what I would think Looksmaxxing's all about.
Yeah, there's a weird there's a grey area I think in the middle. Like this, like getting surgery to lengthen your legs is obviously maybe outside the world of Looksmaxxing.
Yeah.
But then, like, where is... I think there's a very clear line with the height thing. But I think maybe when it comes to things, say, like hair, for example, like, you know, guys will put certain products on their hair and they'll use that, like, derma roller to try and, like, stimulate more hair growth. It's like, well, that's not an extreme thing. That is kind of like a natural thing. But then what about, like, getting, like, a hair transplant or something? Like, that's obviously not, but it is all your natural hair. It's where... I don't know where the line is.
Right, but they don't generally like, you know, like going and get a nose job. That doesn't come into Looksmaxxing. Obviously, it's meant to be doing stuff you can do.
I think so, but I think there is still like people talking about processes that you can get.
It might come.
Maybe it's just
it might come.
Yeah, and I don't think they would.
There's a Venn diagram where
and I don't think they would get touchy about someone if someone said, "Hey, I went and got this procedure." I don't think they'd be like, get out of here. I think it would be more like, do you feel better? Like, are you more confident? Good for you kind of attitude about it. Or
you couldn't be like, I just spent 15 years doing this and now look at me. Really, you went and got...
I think you have to be... I think honesty is the key thing, So yeah, limb lengthening surgery is a relatively new technology. Like, it's not something that I think anyone had done up until about 5 years ago or so. And there's a few clinics that do it. There's some, I think they're mostly in like Turkey and stuff. One of the main ones is called Live Life Taller, and it's a good name. They're on Instagram. I'll link their Instagram for you. It's a lot of before and after photos of guys standing and being shorter than they once were, and they've got like a before and after. So there's also this doctor who's just got the Instagram handle Height Lengthening. So again, there's not much competition out there for Instagram handles if you're into limb lengthening yourself. But it's very expensive. So I Googled it, and like the initial Google result said that it can vary from £15,000 to £275,000. So there's quite a range there.
Plus 10 centimeters. That's a fucking lot.
Yeah, some people do get a fair bit. Like, people are going from like 5'5" to like 5'10", or even like close to 6 foot. So people are getting like a good 5-6 inches sometimes.
Yeah, wow.
And I guess it makes a difference. One thing that I think does look weird though with some of these people is that they kind of look out of proportion. Like, obviously your body is usually in proportion to itself, and I think some of these people, because the way it works is they stretch their like femur. I think it's your femur, like your lower leg.
I see some as well though. They've like straightening their spine. It sort of seems to be implying in some way. There's one on that video you sent me where it shows like a sort of curvy spine, and his back curves in a bit, and then the after is him like just kind of stood up taller, but like. Procedurally is the implication, I suppose, because it's on here. But it's interesting, isn't it? There's only one I can see actually though saying that.
See, I could do with that. I've got a wonky spine, and when I saw a doctor about it, they was like, "Oh, you should be like 4 inches taller than you actually are, but because you've got a wonky spine, you're short or shorter." Right. Yeah, so I really could have put on my Tinder bio back in the day that I'm 6'2", but with a straight spine.
I just need, I just need a bit of straightening.
Yeah, just straighten me out. Anyway, so one person who got their limbs lengthened was a man named Brian the Sasquatch. Now, what's interesting about him is he started out as a 6-foot man already. He was 6 foot, and then after limb lengthening surgery, he's now about 6'6". And that seems quite unnecessary because the process for getting your legs lengthened is pretty brutal. They literally smash your legs, so they just break your lower legs and then put some bars into your legs, and then you have this sort of contraption coming out, and you have this brace on the outside of your legs for months and months, and you turn a little dial every day or every week or something, and it pulls the bars internally a little bit further apart, so your bones are basically constantly healing but being pulled further apart at the same time. So
that must suck. Like the whole time.
It sounds brutal. Like, I don't know how people, I don't know how it's worth it when you put up with that much pain, and like the healing process is obviously terrible.
Yeah, and you can't truly, like, you can't be like, you know, recover and be like good at sports still. You know what I mean? Or
there's a couple that are. There's a couple that are like this Brian Sanchez. Like he was like a big bodybuilder kind of guy beforehand, and he's managed to get. He seemingly has some strong legs, and he's lifting weights, and he seems to be kind of back to normal, I guess, just 6 inches taller. And there's another guy. He used to have the TikTok name Mr. Broken Bones, but he changed it. But he's posted videos of him like running. He went from 5'5" to 5'11". He's posted videos of him sprinting, running, lifting weights. He seems to be, you know, doing like straight up jumps and everything. He seems to have sort of recovered, but most people, I think, probably don't put in that much work. It probably takes a lot of work to like build it up, and
get your physio and stuff afterwards.
The bones surely aren't ever as strong as they used to be.
No, they just can't be, can they?
No,
unless you do like permanently have metal plate in there or something as well, mate.
Yeah, but I mean, these guys, Mr. Broken Bones only paid $80,000 for his, and Brian paid over $100,000. So,
yeah,
worth it. Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of one of the extremes of limb lengthening surgery. Don't think I'm gonna dabble in that.
Nah,
no. Although if they could fix my spine, that might be cool.
Yeah, that's technically Looksmaxxing, yeah.
Because then I'd probably be in proportion as well. Yeah, that's what I was saying with these guys, is like their legs, and then when you see these after photos, a lot of them, their legs are long, but their arms don't go down as far as they should. Like when you stand with your arms down by your side, your arms kind of go like just below your waist or like to your hip. But these guys their arms are higher up because now, like, because they've got that extra height there.
Oh yeah.
And they do just look a bit out of proportion, I find.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And like, it'd technically be more difficult to pick things up because you haven't got that.
Yeah. But it'll be easier to reach things higher.
But it would still be easier to reach things higher. That's true.
Swings and roundabouts. Yeah. You know? Do you more often reach things from high or pick things from low? Probably pick things from low.
That's a great question. I reckon I'll probably pick things from low more, yeah.
Yeah. Listener, tell us what you think. Do you more often pick things from low or reach things from high? One other way that people have been making themselves taller is taking human growth hormone, which traditionally is just made is commonly used for people that want to just get bigger and musclier, and will take HGH to stimulate that growth. It's also used like medically for people who are underdeveloped as like a child or a teenager. Like,
right.
I was reading that Messi had to go on HGH when he was a kid. Like, he's quite short as it is, but he was like really short as a kid and a teenager. So he had some HGH to like boost him up a little bit. But what's happening is like these guys are getting into these forums and stuff, finding out that women only want guys that are bigger than 6'2". And they're like, shit, like what if I don't ever get there? So getting their hands on some HGH before their bodies have finished growing. So if you're up until when you're sort of like 25 or so, your, what is it called? Your epiphyseal plates haven't fused, and that's when you can still grow. So that's why they say when you get to like your early 20s that you're finished growing. But if you keep taking HGH before that, then you can still grow taller as well as stronger. People are also taking estrogen blockers to stop those plates from fusing. So they're essentially in like a late stage puberty longer than they would be. And they're taking HGH to like so they're like never stop growing. It's I don't know how
that sounds a bit, that sounds pretty sketchy, doesn't it?
That is sketchy, yeah. I don't know how us 5'10" guys are going to compete, you know, with all these 6'10" teenagers coming out now from these forums.
From these forums coming out of Reddit, 6'10", absolutely jacked, chin like a fucking Adonis.
So that's kind of that's the height aspect. Now you need to work on your face. That's the next thing. Once you've got the height down, face is the next thing to work on. And you mentioned one of the key aspects for improving your face shape, which is mewing. Now you've got all the basic ones, obviously. People are like, oh, wash your face. You know, if you've got bad acne, go to a doctor. Sort out your facial hair. Like, figure out if you can grow a beard or not. Shave it. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously you can't change your bone structure. You can't change how your face is just naturally shaped. Or can you, Rob? What do you know about mewing?
Something to do with like, it's essentially like a chin reps. You know, like do something with your chin muscles in order to ultimately beef up your chin so your face structure changes, I suppose.
Yeah.
Gym for your mouth.
It is like gym for your mouth. It was originally the term was coined by John and Mike Mew. They were like a father and son orthodontist duo. And they came up with this practice. Originally, it was meant to prevent malocclusion, which is where your teeth don't grow in like when you know when people like your teeth are all growing on top of each other, or there's like not enough room in your mouth for all your teeth, and or like there's big gaps. I don't know, where people have to have braces, teeth don't grow in properly. They had this theory that the reason that's happening is because people are breathing with their mouths and not with their noses, and also like just kind of living with their mouth like gormlessly open, and that's what's causing the jaw to like not grow in the way that it should. So their theory was to try and get people, ideally like kids and teenagers and stuff, to mew, which is where you push your tongue against the roof of your mouth. So you put like the tip of your tongue just behind your teeth, and then push the whole of your, like the flat of your tongue up against the roof of your mouth. And basically that's it. And then keep your mouth like closed. You don't need to clench your jaw, like just keep your mouth closed, and you constantly push in your tongue against the roof of your mouth. This will like promote nasal breathing, which is meant to be healthier for you than mouth breathing. But also I think it's like building up your masseter muscles at like the back of your jaw, and eventually will change your face shape and give you more of that chiseled Giga Chad jaw that you will want.
So I guess the trouble with pretty much all of these things, especially, you know, let's say you got to start as a kid and that, there's no like blind comparison studies. You know what I mean? Like, unless you got a couple of twins, like bang identical twins, but then you still don't know how they're going to turn out how similar they end up being necessarily. You know, be like one of you do it, one of you don't do it.
No, apparently there are studies, but none that are like conclusive. But there were apparently studies, I think twin-based studies, where they trained one. This sounds like really immoral, but like trained one to like nasally breathe and the other one just to mouth breathe, and their face structure did come out like completely different after years and years. But I don't know if I heard that on a podcast. I didn't research it or anything, so I don't know how like accurate that is. The Mew family, the father and son, I think it was the dad, was like stricken from the orthodontic society or like bald. He's basically they said he was in the UK. He's a British guy, and like the NHS were like, you can't work here. Like he's not allowed to work in the NHS. And
so basically, like Big Mouth came after him.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was because of the mewing thing, but it said he was like advising unauthorized practices to his patients. So I think he was probably just telling people to mew. I reckon everyone who came in with a problem, he's like, look, just do this, just mew. But so I've been mewing all morning, and I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, you look sick. I was going to say before you came in, to be honest,
I've got a really sore jaw. I was speaking earlier when I was driving to Tesco. I was like, I was reading about mewing, and I guess I was like unconsciously doing it. Like I think I started doing it when I was reading the instructions. I'm like, okay, that's how you do it. And then I must have just kept doing it because I was sitting in the car and I was like, why is my jaw so like it hurts so bad? Like it feels like I've been like,
does it feel like you've been
eating something really tough? Like,
or blowing up balloons. Does it feel kind of like that?
Yeah.
So I just don't for a second, then it feels like it could.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe I'll keep it up and see how my jaw looks next episode.
No, just check back in like an episode in like 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, or that could be the next couple of episodes.
All right. Yeah. If you're seeing this in 2028, skip to our latest episode and you'll see me with the biggest jaw you've ever seen. But yeah, it was never actually meant to be a procedure for like getting your jaw chad. It was meant to be like to help people's palate grow in the way that it should. And it was only when it was like discovered by Reddit and then like more recently TikTok and stuff, where guys have been like, look at this, I've changed the shape of my face. And on looksmaxxing.com there are some before and afters.
Funnily enough, have you seen like, I don't know which one's the son, Mike Mew or John Mew?
John is the dad and I think Mike is the son.
Yeah, like he does have a pretty good jaw. Like he has an undeniably kind of like chiseled looking jaw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's Mike.
He does.
Yeah. But the rest of him is not what you would atypically describe as, you know, traditionally handsome. But he does have a good jaw.
He's been Jawmaxxing.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it. And he's probably been Workmaxxing as well. I think he's a successful guy. But
he has been Workmaxxing, yeah. I think hasn't he at some point sold mewing as like a, you know, a thing to come and do, like a course in some way, or he must have tried to make money out of it. Like, but
the whole idea is something you can just do at home without having to pay anyone. Like you just
true.
Yeah, you can also get these like rubber balls that you chew on. They're like a rubber ball with like a hole in the middle, almost like donut shapes, but then you bite it down to like close the hole, essentially. Like you put it in and it's got like teeth holes in it and you just chew on that. Like the idea is you put it in your mouth and you just constantly biting down, let go, bite down, let go. So you just, constantly chewing. And apparently that does help build up your masseter muscles.
I bet he goes and speaks at conferences and shit as well. He must, there's no way he doesn't make some money out of this.
But yeah, there's a few before and afters that look like the person's got a much better jaw, but then also has this person just lost a good amount of weight recently, and they're probably going through puberty anyway, and like growing and lifting weights, and like they're doing all this other stuff. It's similar to like when we talk about the semen retention, or like the nofap, where these guys are like, I've not been wanking and my life is so much better. And they're like, I feel so great. I've even been eating better, sleeping better, going outside, talking to women, drinking water. It's great. And it's all because I'm not wanking. And it's like, no. You feel better because you're doing those other things as well. Like, not just because the fact you didn't have a wank. So I wonder, like,
you're
when these guys are like,
in
look
your
at
house.
my jaw, I've been mewing. Not only that, I've been working out, losing weight, sleeping better, like skincare, and even just like the posture when they take the photo, like, I don't know, maybe the first one they was all like, my jaw's shit, and then now they're taking a photo like, look at this. Really working on getting the lighting as good as possible.
I still want to see them though, regardless.
The before and afters.
Yeah.
There's
How can I see him? There's one. That's like he's had a good old mew on that. Other ones are just like, I think you're just generally gone through puberty and been at the gym.
Yeah.
You're still not the same. You're stretching your neck muscles to make your jawline look more defined.
Yeah, there's even like a page on how to take mew in progress photos, because people are skewing results, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of like the face. So we've sorted out your height. You've gone and got some surgery. You've been mewing for a couple years now. Your jaw is as sharp as a diamond. But what about your skin? You know? Like, what if you're dry? You moisturize, obviously. What if you're oily? I don't know. What if you're like, you know, got some acne? Go to the doctor. All that kind of stuff. But what if you're too pale? So skin color, skin color's always been a thing that like has been like a status thing, right? Sometimes it's like certain times in history or certain like parts of the world being pale was better. Certain parts of the world, certain times being tanned was better. Obviously, we're in a time now where people tend to want to be tanned. Like, you know, especially if you're in that like bodybuilding world, you always see like the bodybuilders up there proper oiled and tanned up because it makes their muscles look better. You're seeing like more people just wanting to have a nice tan. And there's obviously fake tan you can rub on your body, spray on your body. You can go on holiday, go outside, but there's not always sun. You can go to like a UV bed or something like that, but that's quite bad for your skin. You're going to get skin cancer, that kind of stuff. But what if there was something you could inject in your body to increase your melanin production and actually give you a tan without even leaving your house? Imagine that.
Is that real?
Introducing Melanotan 2. There was a Melanotan 1 actually. It was like it's one of those things where it was like originally developed for a completely different purpose, and then people realized as they were taking it that they were getting tanned, and that became the product. So, it may also increase sexual arousal. So if you want to get horny and tanned, this is what you go for. So Melanotan, it's quite popular in like the bodybuilding world, because a lot of these guys just want to be a bit more tanned. Maybe they live somewhere where it's not that sunny, hard to get a tan. Cool. This literally is just a chemical that you inject, and it does just increase your melanin production. So you are actually getting a tan. It's like,
does it mean you have to like, you still have to go out in the sun a bit, and then you like doubles the amount of tan you would have got, or you could literally be in a basement and you'd still get darker?
Both. So if you take it and you go outside and get a tan, then it will like double, probably even more. It's like 4 or 5 times as effective like getting a tan. So these guys take it, go in a sunbed, or they go outside and they're just instantly like tanned up, like you've been away for weeks. Or you can just take it like regularly, like a small dose, and even if you're not outside, you'll gradually get a tan. So
mad.
More plates, more dates actually did a video on it like ages ago, because he wanted to try it, so he did, and he was like, yeah, it does work. Like he showed pictures and videos like before and after, and he's like, yeah, I wasn't going outside. Like he lives in Canada, so it's not hot and sunny, and he was taking it and gradually getting a tan, and he was like, yeah, cool, it works. And then he stops. Like he didn't go crazy with it.
Yeah,
some people are going crazy with it.
I can imagine.
I don't think this person is part of the Looksmaxxing community, or she's definitely not. Her name is Martina Big, and you've probably seen her because she is the woman who has transitioned from white to black.
Jeez.
I don't know if she's the only one, because I feel like I've seen a different woman who transitioned, but this is she's just one of those like extreme body modification kind of people, where not only has she decided, I don't know at what point, like if this is a gradual thing, but she was taking so much melanotan, her body was getting darker and darker, and she is now fully black. Obviously, she still has like the facial features of like a white person. It doesn't look very natural, obviously. She's originally from Germany. She was like a blonde woman from Germany, so like very not black, you know.
So is that actually the color of her skin now?
Yeah,
but like with all kinds of fake tan as well, I assume.
I don't think so. I think that's just maybe. I'm sure she probably puts maybe makeup on, but you can take enough melanotan.
We've spoken about her before, haven't we? I think
so. But you can take enough melanotan to literally turn from fully white to fully black.
Yeah, she says it injections. Yeah,
yeah. She's also had loads of other surgeries as well. So she has the largest breasts in Europe. Right. She's a size 32S. S was a new. Yeah, that was a new one for me. I didn't know it went that far. I guess it does. I guess she's the only. If she's got the biggest in Europe, then she's the only one who's an S, right?
Yeah.
Is there anyone that's up there? You know, past the LMNP? Who knows?
Gosh, it's very different. That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a before and after, and she is very blonde, very white. And then she's very dark, dark hair, dark skin. Yeah.
Large-breasted.
Some would say she's looks maxed too far and maybe come back around the other side and sort of mend her looks a little bit. Because she's just had so many injections. Because she's also had like a lot of work in her face as well. Like she's had like injections everywhere. She, I saw a clip. She was on This Morning years ago, and she's been on a bunch of chat shows. She has in her boobs, like obviously big like saline bags, which are just her big fake tits. But she has like a nozzle coming out of her skin, and she fills them up like every day or like or regularly. She like is constantly trying to pump them up more. So she basically like she's like, I guess like gradually like stretching them out, and she has her own like bag of saline that she like or injects into her boobs every day, like just constantly filling them up.
That's mad, isn't it? Fuck.
Yeah, crazy, very curio. Yeah, she's the most extreme version of melanotan. Like, obviously, I don't think she's using it to Looksmaxx, but that is, well, I guess in her eyes she is, but she thinks she looks better that way. Yeah, she actually got. She went to Kenya or some.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah, I just read that about her. Yeah,
she went to Kenya and got like a local Maasai tribe leader to baptize her as a true Kenyan woman.
Yeah.
So I guess now she's Kenyan.
Yeah. Yeah, and lived there in February 2018. She travelled to Kenya and lived there with the tribes of the Maasai and the Samburu. A local clergyman baptized her to be a true Kenyan woman. She was given the baptismal name. Can't read that. Malaika Kubwa in Swahili. Malaika means angel, and Kubwa means big angel.
A big angel.
There you go.
Yeah, and then like the next paragraph is just
expandable models. Yeah, the biggest breast implants in the world.
Yeah, 20,000 cubic centimeters of tit.
Wow, to be continuously expanding them as well is like, that feels, makes me feel funny. So where does because this reminded me of there's that guy we spoke about before. There's like real life Kendall.
Oh yeah,
he's just gone mad on the surgery, isn't it? So there's no. But I bet there's a Venn diagram somewhere where some of the stuff he's done at some point crosses over into Looksmaxxing.
Yeah, I think, like you said at the beginning, I think the true spirit of Looksmaxxing is doing it natural. And mewing is natural, working out, obviously, eating well, all that kind of stuff. But I don't think they're fully against maybe a little bit of augmentation here or there. But
with anything, they probably haven't completely thought it through to avoid contradictions. Or
yeah, there's people also that change their eye color as well. So one way people do this is very temporary, like putting eye contact lenses. You've probably seen people that have contact lenses of like a different color. I always find it very jarring. Like me and Rosie talk about this sometimes when you see someone with fake coloured contacts in, is that when you look at them in the eyes, like you feel like you're not actually looking in someone's eyes. Like it feels like a doll eye.
I've only ever seen people do it like in a kind of freaky way, but not at like Halloween. It was just like just walking about like that and looking at them thinking like it's almost like they've done it just to look like double hard, because they did look double hard. Like it made them look kind of scary.
No, I've seen it in women that just want to have different color eyes, like they probably have brown eyes and just want blue eyes for the day.
There's something funny about it.
Yeah. Or it'll be someone who's
maybe I have seen it, not realised.
Ethnicity doesn't provide blue eyes naturally. And it's just not. It's just weird. Like I feel like I would also look weird with blue eyes, right? It's like usually blue eyes are someone who has like quite light features, maybe lighter hair.
Pale hair.
If someone's got like a dark beard and like they're tanned and then they've got bright blue eyes, like it'd be weird. And it's also so unnatural. They're so like, I feel like they look so manufactured. They look like a little, like a porcelain doll's sort of eye.
Yeah, too much that colour or something.
But if you want that a bit more permanently, you can get eye implants. So like iris implants. They literally cut your eye open and slide like a coloured disc in there, I guess. And now you have that permanently.
Wow.
Then there's also like a new technology that I found out about through the YouTuber Cali Muscle. He's a big YouTuber. He's got like 4 million subscribers. Not only is he a big YouTuber, he's a big fucking guy as well, because he's this big bodybuilder guy. And he's also clearly cares a lot about his looks. And he got this like new procedure to turn his eyes grey.
Whoa.
I don't fully understand how the technology works. I went onto the company's website who provide it, and it's basically like lasers that somehow add this like pigment to your eyes, and you can choose from 9 different colors. So they can literally just change your iris color to whatever you want.
He looks weird. One of his eyes looks a little like it's not as open as the other one. Is that anything to do with that? Is that or is it
I don't think so.
Or one of them just looks darker. Actually, I think that's what it is. They're both open the same, but one looks like one's gone lighter than the other one. I think that's what it is.
It might be his lighting.
Could be his lighting. Yeah.
There's also a video here which is him basically like vlogging the whole thing. So it's a lot of him before getting the surgery, and then I think if you skip to the end, he then has the eye surgery.
Kind of interesting. He does look interesting. Does he explain
It's
why
unique.
grey? Like, why has he gone for grey?
I don't know.
Is it meant to be like blue?
No, I think. Oh wait, either he did say in the video, he's like, a lot of people keep saying it's blue, but it's actually grey, or he might have said the other way around.
Yeah.
He's either like, oh yeah, he said, the colour is not blue, guys, it's grey, magical grey.
All right.
I don't know why he went for grey.
Yeah. I guess it's sort of bluey, though, because enough people are saying it, which isn't a bad thing.
Well, if you would like grey eyes, it only cost him about $12,000. I think they only offer it in New York and Spain. So choose where you want to go.
And did you explain what they do? Did you say that already?
It's like this proprietary technology that they're a bit shady about on their website. Or I just didn't find the right page. But I went on the FAQ and they basically listed all the other ways to pigment your eyes, like contacts and implants and tattoo and all this other way you can change your colour, and why that one sucks and what can go wrong with it. And they just said our way doesn't have any of that. And I think they use lasers in some kind of way, and you have he might explain it more in the video, but you basically, I think you go in, lay down, and they just shoot lasers into your eyes, and somehow that changes the colour.
Crazy.
Yeah. The last kind of thing I'd written down was obviously like hair transplants. They're not as extreme because obviously they're so kind of popular, and I think people just I guess you probably would have thought they was extreme like years ago, but they've been around for a while.
It's been a bit
obviously,
more normalised, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, like I think a lot of people's maybe first experience with it is like Wayne Rooney getting his hair transplant.
That was a
I think
famous one, yeah.
Yeah, he really kind of like normalised it a little bit. Obviously, he got like so much stick for it at the time. And also, it didn't
really take, did it?
It didn't stick.
Yeah.
No, I think he just kind of gave up.
It's all right for Wayne Rooney. He could afford to chuck just a few 100,000 or whatever the fuck it is, a few thousand. But I know a bloke who's just like an everyday bloke, you know, like goes to work, has a sort of reasonably well paid job, but not like, certainly he's not like mega rich. And went and did it, and it didn't really take.
Oh, really?
It was like 15, 20 grand maybe it cost him.
Yeah,
it's like Turkey. Maybe not as much as that in Turkey, maybe, but it's
I think
5 to 10 grand at least. I think.
Yeah, I think it's about that. I think you can get it as low as like 3 to 4, but I think like if you go to a decent one, I think it's like 6 or 7 or so.
I'm pretty sure he spent about 50. I don't think maybe this guy didn't go to Turkey. This guy might have done it before the whole Turkey thing was really
right. Yeah,
was really a thing. I'm sure he would have gone to Turkey if he'd done it now.
Yeah, he might have also gone before the technology got like perfected, or maybe it is just certain people it doesn't take well.
Yeah,
like,
it was a while ago. I remember hearing about it. Yeah.
And I think after you get it done, you're meant to do like you're meant to keep up your regime. Like you're meant to like, you know, put the right products on it and stuff. And I think if people just go, oh, it's fixed, I don't need to do that. And then obviously it just falls out. Yeah. Yeah. I remember saying, I always said that I'd get it done. Like, my dad has like lost a lot of his hair, and like his hairline's very receded and got like the bald spot at the back, and then like I can tell mine's going that way as well, like it's getting thinner. And I've always said, oh, I'd do it, like if it's only a few grand, like, and I've got like, if I've got the money, then like why not? Whether I will or not, I don't know. As I'm getting older, I like care a bit less and less. But
I know a guy that has like a awesome wig now.
Oh,
like,
you see those on Instagram where it is like glued on, or
you go and get it like put on, sort of thing, yeah. And but like he doesn't. He's not like permanent. He'll do it for like he did his wedding, for example. Or like he might do it for a certain period of time.
Yeah, they call it a system. They call it's like a hair system.
It is a system.
They refer to
exactly what it is. Yeah, and they like cut it on, you know, and stuff. Didn't what's his name did it? Didn't he? the guy that Ricky Gervais's mate,
Carl Pilkington.
Carl Pilkington. I think he did it.
Did he? Just as a joke,
episode,
I guess.
Yeah.
Like he's not
on an episode. Yeah, for an episode.
okay.
Like, and he actually was like really liked it. I think it was.
Yeah,
like,
of course. Yeah,
yeah.
I see these videos. I think my algorithm knows that I'm going bald, so it's like
I think
my algorithm's like showing me these videos, and it'll be these guys, and they're like 30, so they're not old, and they're just like, yeah, like real. My hair's so thin, it's so shit. I feel so self-conscious, and then like, you know, they do like the quick time lapse type thing, and they glue it on, and then they like cut the hair around it so it blends real good with the side. Yeah, and then afterwards they're like, they do look like a completely different person. It's crazy. Yeah. But did you know you can also get beard transplants as well?
Did not know that.
So it works the same way as a hair transplant, where they just take it from where it's like thickest and fullest, pull bits out, put them in where it's thin. So guys that maybe have like solid sideburns and a chin bit, but it's just not connecting, or they just want it fuller, higher up, fill in some gaps. It must fucking hurt, this one. Like, I feel like I could deal with it on my head. Like,
yeah,
you know, like, but your face, I feel like
that
like,
feels way more sensitive, that bit of skin.
Yeah. And like your head, like you can kind of avoid your head touching things and like do it, but your mouth is obviously constantly moving every time you eat, and you touch your face all the time. That would be hard. But yeah, they basically just line you up, get like get a nice solid beard on you. Not something that I'd be that sensitive about, because
it's
like
a stranger one to like really want a beard that much. Like most people that can't grow a beard just kind of accept it. I mean, I can't grow a great beard, but like it's enough. But I feel like if I couldn't, I'd just be like, well, that's that. Like, I don't know anyone that's like gagging for a beard.
There's so much to get the surgery for it.
Yeah, that seems a strange one. That's way more niche.
Yeah. That's kind of the extent of like the extreme. I guess this is more body modifications than it is just Looksmaxxing. Like the Looksmaxxing is kind of the more tame. That's the starting point, you know. That's the gateway into this body modification world. Yeah. What did you want to say about like the Giga Chad guy? Or
no, I just knew that. I just knew he had something to do with, like, at least people talk about that being like the end goal, whether ironically or sort of, you know, like with most of these things on the internet, at some point it was a joke, and then it sort of is still a joke in some places, and also some people mean it. It's like it's hard to tell whether.
Yeah, I guess he's like the caricature of like the Looksmaxxer, right? Like where he's big and muscly, got like the perfect hair and like the squared out jaw. Maybe we'll revisit the. I'd like to get a Looksmaxxer on the podcast. If you're a hardcore Looksmaxxer, reach out to us. Well, really, I should reach out to you. That's my job. But yeah, I want to talk to a Looksmaxxer and really like dive into the some of the more niche bits in there. It's a very like male thing as well. So on the website there is a section that is female Looksmaxxing. It's a bit of a dead area. Like there's not many people on there.
I think they've got their own kind of
and they do have like, so there's like some threads on there, like guide to reducing under eye bags, and there's like a hair guide and eyelash guide and some other stuff. And I think I clicked on one. It was like very detailed eyebrow guide, and like this woman has like written a big thing about like how to do your eyebrows depending on like your eyebrow type and your face shape and all that. And like the top comment was just from like some guy being like, "Oh my god, an actual woman." A Looksmaxxing thread made by a female on this site. I never thought I'd live to see it.
Yeah, because pretty much surely just like every other part of culture is aimed at women doing that, you know, improving their looks. There's a long history of that already existing. In every
I think
other
like
facet of life.
Yeah, and like sometimes I think a lot of guys, it's like less intuitive. Like a lot of guys probably haven't really ever thought about it. It's like, this is how I look. It's like, well, maybe take some pride. Yeah, that's kind of it. Next episode, we'll be back with a weird news, and then Rob, you're off to India. Am I right?
You are right. Yeah, only for a short while. Not like some George James time.
Exciting, yeah. I wonder when he's going to be back.
Yeah. Well, he's finished. I see he's finished.
He has finished, yeah. Hasn't given us any updates. Sorry to everyone who's been wondering what's happening to George over the past few weeks. He's left us over here.
He's gone to join a clan of big feet for a while. that's where he's gone. So he'll report back with
his big feet maxing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is Walkmaxxing right now.
He's Walkmaxxing.
Yeah. Outdoors maxing.
Which is probably a good way of foot maxing. If you're constantly walking, your feet get a little flatter, longer.
Yeah.
So if you want to,
I wonder. I'd like to see that twin study. Get one twin, make them walk all their life. Get the other twin. They don't really walk much. How big are their feet at the end?
Yeah. What just happened there? You had like a sort of speech bubble and a thumbs up come out of you.
Oh, is that like the auto?
Yeah. What's that coming from? That's good.
I think that's Riverside automatically doing that. All right, that was Curio episode 119.